Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I've got 3 things I want to share with you. Well, technically it's 2. So the first one is this tweet from Donald Trump, and the reason that I want to do this is because I know many of you are not on Twitter, and so you may have missed this, but I want to show you what it says. And this is a statement that he put up. I am the only person I know, perhaps the only person in history, who can give major money to charity, $19 million, charge no expense, and be attacked by the political hacks in New York State. No wonder why we are all leaving. Every penny of the $19 million raised by the Trump Foundation went to hundreds of great charitable causes with almost no expenses. The New York Attorney General is deliberately mischaracterizing this settlement for political purposes. In fact, the court rejected the Attorney General's frivolous request for statutory penalties, interest, and other damages. It has been 4 years of politically motivated harassment, first by lightweight A.G. Schneiderman, prior to his resignation for beating up women, then A.G. Underwood, who was impossible to deal with, and now A.G. Letitia James, who does not acknowledge that we gave 100% of the funds to great charities, but refuses to investigate the Clinton Foundation with all of its problems. All they found was incredibly effective philanthropy and some small technical violations, such as not keeping board minutes. We resolved the case with the understanding that all money previously in the foundation has gone to charity. I am therefore happy to donate $2 million to the following worthy charities: Army Emergency Relief, Children's Aid Society, City Meals on Wheels, Give an Hour, Martha's Table, United Negro College Fund, United Way of Capital Area, and the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum. So that's what he put out because, they're trying to twist things around about this lawsuit and everything. It's just crazy. And this is how the Democrats fight. They use the legal system. And unfortunately, they've got a lot of their cronies in there. And so things don't always come out fairly. It's crazy to me that they are accusing him of doing this stuff because this guy gives all of his salary to charity. So this is not the person you should be accusing of being greedy or anything. But I just wanted to share that one with you. This is the one that I wanted to really point out because it kind of continues what I was dealing with in the last video. Chuck Grassley's at it again. Yep. And this time Senator Johnson is with him because Johnson is the chair of the Homeland Security Committee in the Senate. They demand State Department release all documents about who? Hunter Biden and Burisma contacts. And here's the link, and this is what it takes you to. This letter here to Pompeo from Grassley and Johnson. So let me go through this with you, and we'll cover the stuff that it's in there because good stuff. Oh, he's asking for this information. Now the question is, will Pompeo release it? If Pompeo has anything to say about it, I'm sure he will. But, sometimes there's a lot of people in between the request, the person in charge, and the people who actually make it happen. So I don't know if there are some hidden people in there that might be able to stop it from happening. But I think if it's a Pompeo, there's a very good chance that he will put it out. Although he may have to deal with grand jury stuff. Because remember, if it's something that the grand jury is currently using to get an indictment, until the indictment's actually given or unsealed, that material may not be available for public scrutiny. So anyway, this says, in April 2014, Vice President Biden reportedly became the public face of the administration's handling of Ukraine. Around the same time, the vice president's son, Hunter Biden, and his business associate, Devon Archer, both began serving on the board of Burisma Holdings, a Ukrainian energy company. According to the New York Times, Hunter Biden would be paid as much as $50,000 per month in some months for his work for the company. Gosh, wouldn't you like to get that? $50,000 per month. What could you do with that? Emails obtained and publicly released through the Freedom of Information Act show that at the time Hunter Biden and Devon Archer joined Burisma, their other business partner, Christopher Hines, the stepson to then Secretary of State John Kerry, emailed senior State Department officials about the announcement with concern. Specifically, on May 13, 2014, Hines wrote to Special Assistant Matt Summers and Chief of Staff David Wade. Apparently, Devon and Hunter both joined the board of Burisma, and a press release went out today. I can't speak why they decided to, but there was no investment by our firm in their company. Hines has also been quoted through his spokesman as saying he strongly warned Mr. Archer that working with Burisma was unacceptable, and the lack of judgment in this matter was a major catalyst for Mr. Hines ending his business relationships with Mr. Archer and Mr. Biden. There are copious notes. I'm not going to go through them all, but, he uses the Washington Examiner, but he also uses the New York Times, so he gets a little bit of a balance between them. Here's MSN, so it's not like he's just relying on one source or just one side of the issue. According to the Times, Hunter Biden's work for Burisma prompted concerns among State Department officials at the time that the connection could complicate Vice President Biden's diplomacy in Ukraine. Based on this report, it is unclear the extent to which State Department officials expressed these concerns formally and what, if any, action the department took to address them. In 2016, while Hunter Biden and Devon Archer were both working for Burisma Holdings, Ukraine's top prosecutor was conducting an investigation into the company and its owner. The Times, that's the New York Times, reported that in 2016, Vice President Biden, quote, threatened to withhold $1 billion in United States loan guarantees if Ukraine's leaders did not dismiss the country's Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. Ukraine's parliament voted to dismiss Shokin after Vice President Biden called for his removal. Indeed, Vice President Biden later bragged about how he was responsible for Shokin's firing. And this is probably the video that you've seen over and over again where he said, "We're not going to give you the $1 billion. And they said, "You have no authority. You're not the president." The president said, "I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here in, I think it was about 6 hours. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money." Well, son of a bee, he got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Yeah, it's solid. Emails recently obtained and made public through a FOIA request indicate that Burisma's consulting firm used Hunter Biden's role on Burisma's board to gain access and potentially influence matters at the State Department. In a February 24, 2016 email with the subject line Burisma, a State Department official wrote, and again, more of the documentation there if you want to look at it. Per our conversation, Karen Tramontano of Blue Star Strategies requested a meeting to discuss with Undersecretary Novelli, U.S. government, remarks alleging Burisma, Ukrainian energy company, of corruption. She noted that 2 high-profile U.S. citizens are affiliated with the company, including Hunter Biden as a board member. Tramontano would like to talk with Undersecretary Novelli about getting a better understanding of how the U.S. came to the determination that the company is corrupt. According to Tramontano, there is no evidence of corruption, has been no hearing or process, and evidence to the contrary has not been considered. Would appreciate any background you may be able to provide on this issue and suggested TPs for Undersecretary Novelli's meeting. Okay? Although it is not clear if Undersecretary Novelli met with Karen Tramontano on March 1, 2016, as planned, later that month Tramontano and other members of Burisma's legal team reportedly met with Ukrainian prosecutors. According to what appears to be contemporaneous notes by one of those Ukrainian prosecutors, during that meeting, Burisma's legal team apologized about what they alleged to be, quote, false information promoted by the U.S. government about the prosecutors' handling of the investigation of Burisma. Additionally, other documents obtained and made public through FOIA show other meetings that Burisma board members Hunter Biden and Devon Archer scheduled with high-ranking State Department officials. In May 2015, Hunter Biden asked to meet then Deputy Secretary of State Antony Blinken to, quote, get his advice on a couple of things. And again for lunch on July 22nd, 2015. On March 2nd, 2016, just one day after Tramontano was scheduled to meet with Undersecretary Novelli about Burisma, Devon Archer was scheduled to meet with Secretary of State John Kerry. To better understand what actions, if any, the Obama administration took to ensure that policy decisions relating to Ukraine and Burisma were not improperly influenced by the employment and financial interests of family members, please provide the following information no later than November 20th, 2019. You know Grassley, this is how he works. He wants the answers to these questions. All State Department records relating to Hunter Biden, Devon Archer, Christopher Hines, and Karen Tramontano. All State Department records. That should be interesting. All State Department records relating to Burisma Holdings, Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Bohai, LLC, Rosemont Capital, and Blue Star Strategies. Based on the February 24, 2016 email cited above, it appears that Tramontano wanted to meet with then Undersecretary Novelli. Did this meeting occur? If so, when and who attended? Please produce all records relating to the meeting. With respect to the March 2nd, 2016 meeting between Devon Archer and Secretary Kerry, did that meeting take place? If so, when did it occur? What was it about and who attended? Please produce all records relating to the meeting. With respect to the May 27th, 2015 and July 22nd, 2015 meetings between Hunter Biden and Antony Blinken, did these meetings take place? If so, when did it occur? What was it about and who attended? Please produce all records relating to the meeting. In the February 24, 2016 email cited above, a State Department employee wrote that Tramontano would like to talk with Undersecretary Novelli about getting a better understanding of how the U.S. came to the determination that Burisma is corrupt. Based on this email, it appears that the U.S. had determined Burisma to be corrupt. Is this accurate? Please explain. Has the State Department requested that the Office of the Legal Advisor or the Office of Inspector General review potential concerns and conflicts of interest related to Hunter Biden's work for Burisma, while Vice President Biden reportedly acted as the United States' top official in Ukraine? If not, why not? Okay, and then he just goes through, he always gives this right here that talks about how they're authorized to do this. And we anticipate your response. And if there's classified information, make sure it's separate from the unclassified information. And then they have it signed. So that is the letter that these two were working on that they gave out to Mike Pompeo on November 6th. So what's going to happen here? Again, like I said, if it's up to Pompeo, Pompeo would release all of this. However, it's not totally up to him, because there are logistics and sometimes there are some protocols that they have to go through. And it could also be that some of it's being used for grand juries. So there could be some reasons why it's not going to be released right away. However, this letter is a very good sign because it means it is being investigated. Biden's not going to walk away from this one. This information is going to come out. And like it or not, mainstream media is going to have to cover it because it will be news. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.